They have a missing persons poster up here. Let's say I'd seen this person. I can't even comment here and tell them. You see what I'm saying? Look, another one. Locating this missing person. You can't comment and say, "Oh, I saw this person at the Stop and Shop." No. I mean, then you have this clown. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to That Surprise Witness TV. How are you doing today on this fine Thursday? I'm doing just fine. Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter and less involved than the last two videos, but I did just want to update y'all with a few goings on in the Danbury situation. Now, this is not my first investigation of this sort by a long shot. I've looked into a lot of high profile celebrity conservatorships, guardianships. I've looked into corruption. I've looked into government bad acting, et cetera, et cetera. I've looked into bills. I've looked into laws. I've looked into all of that. In my experience, there's a few things that people and, bad actors, for example, start to do whenever people start to look into them and start to perhaps uncover things that those bad actors did not want we, the people, to find. And just like in those previous cases, in my experience, a similar thing is happening in the Danbury situation. Now, again, I just want to point out, like I have in the last video or two, all this could have been avoided had the officials in Danbury actually respected people's rights. And even if they didn't respect people's rights on that first instance, I think it still could have been avoided many, many times along the way as they have continued to make bad decisions if they had just made good decisions. Okay. So this is all Danbury's fault. They brought it on themselves. And like I said in, like 2 videos ago, if there's nothing to find, I won't find anything. But they start making themselves look real guilty whenever they make the choice to have less transparency instead of making the choice to have more transparency.
Do you think that's an appropriate response for a Danbury Police Department officer to say 20 years ago?
Thank you. Have a nice day.
20 years ago, I'd been dead with my teeth missing, sir. You support that statement, yes or no? It's an easy question. I mean, I would think you would say no. Do you support the statement?
And look, listen, maybe they don't want to have more transparency, but at the very least, they should maintain the amount of transparency that already is in existence, and they're not doing that. So today's video, I just want to kind of touch base with where we are in this whole situation from a court of public opinion perspective. So I did touch on this in my last video. I also made a reel about it and a YouTube short. Breaking news. Chuck Stango from the Danbury corrupt ticket Long Island audit trial seems to have deleted his LinkedIn. More at 6. If you're following me on other platforms, etc., you probably already know this. I also touched on in the last video. But let me show y'all. 2 videos ago, I did talk about Chuck Stango, the judge in this trial, and his LinkedIn account. Now, on his LinkedIn account, I'll see if I can put in a clip here from the previous video. But on that LinkedIn account, Chuck Stango listed that he had worked as the president of the Connecticut Association of Prosecutors for 2 years, from March 2020 until April 2022. On Chuck's LinkedIn, he did claim that he stopped. This is his LinkedIn, right? Chuck Stango, judge, Superior Court, Waterbury, Connecticut. He claims that April of last year, he was no longer the president of the Prosecutors Association. It was a little bit ambiguous whether Chuck, legally speaking, was serving still as the president of the Connecticut Prosecutors Association while he was working as a judge. As of February 6th, 2023, if you go to the Connecticut Secretary of State's website, it will still tell you that Chuck Stango is the president. A lot of people were like, it's just outdated. You might be right. Who knows? All I can go by is what's on those official records. A couple of y'all were also saying it would have taken one phone call to figure out who's the president. Bitch, leave the number below them because I can't find the number to the Connecticut Prosecutors Association. So put the number below and I'll be happy to call them. Anyway, moving on. Long story short, Chuck Stango listed that he was the president of the Connecticut Association of Prosecutors for 2 years, from March 2020 to April 2022. The place that I saw that, the place that I got that information, was from Chuck Stango's own LinkedIn. And I've touched on this a little bit. I just want to have it all in one place so that we have it for our historical record. If you do go to Google and just say, LinkedIn Chuck Stango, the link still shows up. The crawlers still seem to have the URL of the LinkedIn up, but look what happens when you click it. Oh, looks like it's gone, right? I mean, looks like he deleted it. And this happened within 10 to 12 hours after I posted my video exposing his connection to the Prosecutors Association. Okay. Now, that is one area where the city of Danbury is reducing the public transparency in this case. Another area has to do with the Danbury Police Department's official Facebook page. They do have about 17,000 followers on Facebook. And if you go to the Danbury Police Department Facebook page, which I will pull up now, as you can see, City of Danbury Police Department, 17,000 followers, following 80 people. And let's just scroll through some of their posts because I want to show y'all something. Now, I did not make this discovery. A couple of y'all actually posted this in comments, and so it prompted me to go and look. Do y'all notice anything interesting about these posts? For example, that you cannot comment on them. So this is a police department, a publicly funded organization. They have this, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is like similar to like a town square, and they have cut off not only our ability to comment on their Facebook posts, but also any of the citizens of Danbury. So, I mean, if they're going to have this whole, like, look, I mean, seriously, this is a missing person. They have a missing persons poster up here. Let's say I'd seen this person. I can't even comment here and tell them. You see what I'm saying? Look, another one. Locating this missing person. You can't comment and say, "Oh, I saw this person at the Stop and Shop." No, I mean, then you have this clown.
In the city where we highlight our emergency notification system with Everbridge and Matthew. Pass it back to you.
So you have the mayor with the mayor kikiing with this guy right here talking about Danbury alert. Now, I will say, in the interest of full disclosure here, I will say that the city of Danbury does not have their comments turned off last I checked. Let's just double check. Yep. Okay. So on the city of Danbury's Facebook page, 12,000 followers, the comments are still turned on. Oh, this is the event that we went to. This is the event that me and Sean went to. Let's see if you can see us in any of these. No. Okay. So you can still comment on these posts. So this is from 19 hours ago. Let's just take a gander, shall we, into some of the comments. Oh my God, this is funny. Great job, Danbury officials, for showing the entire world how corrupt your whole city officials and officers really are, especially the judge. Great company. This police department is like that crazy old grandpa you ignore, talking about their past and how they beat up citizens and blatantly homophobic. How about you end unconstitutional requirement to sign in at city buildings? Now, I will say I have been to Danbury City Hall and there's no requirement to sign in anymore. Sean will be putting out his audit of that city hall and police department situation, and you will see there is no longer a requirement to sign in.
Flashback.
So I want to go upstairs to see the town clerk. Great. Yeah, I know where it is.
Oh, the stairwell of doom. The stairwell of doom. So to Stephanie, this requirement has been ended. 20 years ago, he'd be dead with his teeth missing. The city should be ashamed. Is there a sign-in requirement? No, there is not. Collusion. Okay, so maybe if you just kind of take a gander at these comments from the last 19 hours, you might get a better picture as to why the police department doesn't want people to be able to comment on their Facebook page. But my response to that is, too bad, so sad. You're the police department. Why don't you give a little bit of transparency? Why don't you make people like Officer Utter, who said that Sean should be dead with his teeth missing, why don't you give that type of person a little bit of a consequence? Maybe then we, the people, including the citizens of Danbury, wouldn't feel the need to comment on the police department's Facebook page. Now, your guess is just as good as mine as to why the police department turned off their comments, but the city of Danbury did not. Who knows? I mean, it could come down to anything at all. It doesn't necessarily mean it's something nefarious, but I will say credit to the city of Danbury Facebook page for not turning the comments off, because that would have made the situation even worse. Let me go to the Mayor Esposito page and see if he has his comments turned off. Let's see. Okay, Mayor Dean Esposito. Here's him shoveling. If you look real close, you'll probably be able to see me and Sean's reflections in this window. Okay, look, listen, gotta give Mayor Dean Esposito credit. Even though, he doesn't have as many followers, he has his comments on. So at the very least, I must give it to him. At least he has the comments on. Let's see, 2 days ago. What is this? Very interesting. I will say very interesting of the News Times. I wish I could get a hold of this article because I would like to see if they reported on Sean's presence at this event. It doesn't look like they did because I don't think the mayor would be sharing it. But this is a project that I will be looking into from a public records perspective. What does it say here? Danbury has decided it will be more deliberate in helping students find the skills they need to take control of their learning and dictate the terms of their own future. So what happened with this project is they purchased this building, the city of Danbury, with the help of some state funding that they secured through the help of some state representatives or some state elected officials at the state level. And now they're going to use it for some type of career academy. If that is true, if what they're saying on the surface is true, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's great. But I'm going to be looking into the funding and how they're spending the money on it and things like that in the future. Mayor Dean Esposito Center, this guy, leads the symbolic shoveling of dirt during the groundbreaking for the Danbury Career Academy at the former Cardis Court property in Danbury on Monday. It will be converted into a school expected to accommodate about 1,400 middle and high school students. The school is expected to open in 2025, 2026. What I will say also just is a very, very on point allegory, if you ask me. Like some actual working class person had to put this huge pile of dirt in front of this new school or whatever so that all of these white collars could shovel a shovel of dirt from behind the pile onto the front of the pile with these copper shovels. And then, of course, someone else that isn't them is going to have to remove that dirt from the front of the building. So it's just a good allegory of all the pomp and circumstance that goes into these propaganda events to make it seem like this fool is doing something helpful, while this fool is also not holding accountable the officers on the Danbury Police Department for saying that Sean Reyes would be dead with his teeth missing 20 years ago. And, okay, cool. You can shovel a thing of dirt, but you can't hold the officers in your city accountable. That's real cute. Okay. So, but I will say, got to give credit where it's due. He does not have his comments turned off. Now, what did the people have to say on these comments? Why is Utter still a police officer in your city after the vulgarities he spoke? You know the video I speak of. He is yours, and yours is an elected position. Is this where you teach town officials to be corrupt? Other news agencies are reporting differently. What kind of man needs them to pile up some loose gravel because he's too weak to put a shovel in the ground? Kind of what I was thinking too, Lucas. So Kai says, hello, Mayor. I recently got a follow request from Danbury Police page because I liked one of the posts. Is this the same police department Facebook page all over the news at the moment with the police officer that said about a member of the public 20 years ago he would be dead with his teeth missing and he would have done it? Is this the same department? So there are allegations that the police department is going after people who do ask them questions and who are trying to hold them accountable. I don't know if that's true or not, but according to Kai, the police department Facebook did try to follow them. So, interesting. David Ferry says, I don't have a dental plan. Can I come to Danbury and get a few extractions done by that nice policeman featured on Long Island Audit YouTube video? You know, the one who 20 years ago removed people's teeth for free. Okay, I've had enough of that. So there is one more thing that I do want to point out, and this is also something that I have discussed previously, and it has to do with this guy. Now, I think before he was an officer and now he's like a sergeant or something like that. It's so funny. I was talking to my friend about Danbury and she said it's almost like every time you go into Danbury, like the Matrix has pressed shuffle on the NPCs because when you go, they all have a different job. The former mayor is now on the city council. The mayor now used to be on something else. The judge in Danbury used to be the president of the Prosecutors Association. The guy that used to be in charge of internal affairs is now some type of official deputy assistant thing, something or another. And then this guy, Jacobellis, he used to be an officer. Now he's a sergeant. So they just press shuffle on the NPCs every time somebody goes and looks at Danbury. So I guess that's really what's going on. But there's one more thing. I've already kind of talked about it before, but I want to put it all in one video here that the officials in Danbury do seem to be hiding. And that is this police body camera footage. Now, as I said in previous videos, I cannot be 100% sure what is being said in that video, but to me, it does really sound like he's saying, "This guy's such a beep expletive slur." Now, as of yesterday, I'm happy to report I have made an official FOIA request for that police body camera footage with the audio. I did put in the FOIA request, which is a Freedom of Information Act request. I put in the FOIA request that I would like that body camera footage with the audio, since that has been broadcast to the public in the court hearing. Now, the reason I'm requesting it with audio is because Sean claims that the evidence that he received from the state's attorney, Russell Zentner, included this body camera footage with no audio. Okay. Yes, I did speak about this before, but I wanted to put all the hiding and all the lack of transparency in one video. So, as we've discussed previously, it seems to be a Brady violation for the prosecution not to turn over 100% of the exculpatory evidence in this trial. Now, some of y'all did mention things about evidence tampering, and that does come into play as well. So I'll make a whole video about the evidence tampering. But the point remains that Sean claims he got this body camera footage with no audio, despite the fact that the state's attorney, Russell Zentner, played this audio in court, in open court, broadcast to thousands of people, probably hundreds of thousands at this point, and nothing to be heard about audio whenever Sean got this evidence. So I did request it from the police department in a Freedom of Information Act request yesterday. I did receive an email back from the police department. I'll tell y'all who I interacted with. I got an email back from a Christian Caraccio that says, "Good morning. This is to acknowledge receipt of your FOIA request. It will be processed in the order it was received. I will advise you upon completion. Thank you, Captain Christian A. Carocchio, Danbury Police Department." And then there's this confidentiality notice, which I don't know why on earth that's in there. Maybe it's just, attached to his email. Anyway, so I will keep y'all updated as far as that goes. Maybe they'll send it to me with all the audio intact, and we'll be able to tell a little bit more clearly what exactly Officer Jacobellis is saying in that video. Because to me, it does sound like he might be saying, "This guy is such a beep," and that would have prompted him to want to take the audio out of the video. So, in the process of my prior investigations into like Bam Margera's conservatorship in particular, I have requested lots of body camera footage. Now, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll send it to you with no audio and they'll claim it's like for some privacy concern, right? Now, all of the body camera footage I've requested on behalf of BAM was either in the state of Florida or Arizona. So it hasn't been in Connecticut. And each state has their own privacy rules. And I think maybe even each department has their own privacy rules, but usually there's like a state level FOIA situation. It's all different. It all varies from moment to moment as well. It all varies from state to state, jurisdiction to jurisdiction. But I think they're going to have a hard time saying that there's some type of privacy concern with this audio whenever the audio has already been played in open court and broadcast to thousands of people, a lot of we the people. So I'm interested to see how they respond to this FOIA request. I mean, strictly speaking, they need to just send it to me because of all the reasons that I've said. But like I said, I have experience requesting body camera footage, and I have experience receiving very, very heavily redacted body camera footage. Of course, I will have to pay for the video and the audio and all of that. And I will certainly keep y'all updated as to how much they actually end up charging me for it, et cetera, et cetera. That's all I really had to say for today. If I do find anything else where it seems like Danbury or the officials in Danbury are hiding, running scared, deleting things, turning off comments, et cetera, I will make a follow-up video. If y'all know of anything that I did miss here as far as things that they are hiding, please do leave it in the comments below and I will add it to the next update video. I will, like I said, be looking into other forms of potential corruption in the town/city of Danbury, and I will be letting you know as I find things in this investigation. Just a little quick plug, I have two other channels on YouTube. One is called BJ Investigates with my friend Jake, and another is called Study Break with my friend Shelby. And we do have a video coming out on Study Break tonight, and we have a BJ Investigates coming out very soon. So if y'all are interested in documentary style investigations, I would suggest you check out those other channels, maybe consider subscribing because it's fun and it's just a little bit different than this. But we do look into corruption, we look into public lies, stuff like that. Just like this channel that you're on right now is kind of more just like my stream of consciousness and me kind of just talking. It's like a commentary channel, right? The other ones are more like documentaries. And BJ Investigates is where I'm going to end up putting the little documentary on Sean and the Danbury audit and all that. So that's where that video will be whenever we finally do make it. I mean, we have a lot going on over here. It'll get up when it gets up. Okay. In the meantime, make sure you also are subscribed to Sean because he will probably be putting up the audit from Danbury that we did together much, much sooner than we put up the BJ Investigates documentary. That's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.